2024 had some big changes in the world of credit cards, and the major players certainly got in on the action. New cards with unique and valuable offerings often shake up the landscape, and thankfully we got a few of those this year. We also got a strong indication that more rewards on debit cards may be coming. In this video, we're looking back at 6 of the biggest moves in 2024, specifically the biggest move from each of 6 major credit card issuers. It's stuff like this that makes talking about credit cards, whether as a content creator or a general user, so fun and interesting. Let's go, starting with American Express. Early this year, they shared plans to refresh 40 products globally, and so if asked at the time what Amex's biggest move would be this year, I would have said one of these refreshes. Good job, younger me. I'm going with the refresh to one of Amex's most prominent cards, the Personal Gold Card. The key changes as part of this refresh were an annual fee increase from $250 to $325 and the additions of a $50 semi-annual Resi credit and a $7 monthly Dunkin' Donuts credit. The maximum annual value of these credits is $184, and so it is more valuable for people who can use enough of these credits. However, it's less valuable for people who can't use enough, as well as for people who get inconvenienced in trying to use them. The refresh of the Gold Card marked a key step in Amex's continued trajectory towards this, a lineup of high annual fee credit cards, but with enough statement credits such that if fully utilized will largely, if not fully, cover the annual fees. The thing is, most of these statement credits are just better catered towards people who live in certain areas, specifically urban cities. Not to mention, the effort in managing more statement credits is another sticking point. I think the current Amex Gold is just more polarizing, a wider gap in sentiment between its lovers and haters. We'll shift to Chase, where I'm going with a buff to its premium travel credit cards, specifically its offerings as part of its complimentary airport lounge access. At the beginning of 2024, the Chase Sapphire Reserve, Ritz-Carlton, and JP Morgan Reserve cards offered complimentary access to 2 Sapphire lounges in Boston and Hong Kong, as well as 1 Sapphire Terrace in Austin, and priority pass access, including restaurants. Here's how the suite of offerings changed over the year. Priority pass restaurants went away, which wasn't good, but on the flip side, Chase opened 4 more Sapphire lounges in New York LaGuardia, New York JFK, Phoenix, and San Diego, and included accesses to the Etihad Lounge in Washington Dulles and select Air Canada Maple Leaf lounges. Oh, and while the Terrace in Austin is still open now, it's slated to close in March 2025. Unless you value priority pass restaurants in a big way, you have to agree with me when I say that the overall lounge offerings on these cards got a whole lot better in 2024. Chase has become far more formidable in terms of its airport lounge offerings, and as a result, its premium travel credit cards got a buff as well. While they still lag behind Amex in terms of airport lounge footprint, frankly, I found the Sapphire lounges a bit nicer. Capital One also opened more of their lounges in 2024, but I'm not going with that as its biggest move, nor anything that changed regarding its credit card portfolio. Yeah, the Saver card being discontinued isn't that noteworthy. Instead, let's look at Capital One's agreement to buy Discover. Yes, this acquisition isn't finalized yet. In fact, there have been some recent roadblocks, but just the fact that it was agreed upon is a big deal. See, not only would this unite 2 of the US's biggest credit card issuers, but it would also give Capital One the ability to issue its credit cards under Discover's payment processing network. There could be many ramifications from this, but let's focus on what's probably most important for consumers. As part of the 2010 Durbin Amendment, interchange fees on debit cards were capped, which made banks stop offering rewards on debit card purchases. However, this only applies to open networks like Visa and MasterCard that work with many banks and not to proprietary networks like Amex and Discover. Capital One miles earned on debit card purchases, anyone? The earned rates wouldn't be as lucrative as on credit cards, but hey, no complaints with another option to earn rewards. On to Citibank. Compared to the 3 aforementioned credit card issuers, they were relatively quieter. Alas, if all their moves weren't big, we can still pick out what the biggest one was, and I'm going with the rebrand of the old Citi Premier card to the Citi Strata Premier. The changes simply included a 3x thank you point multiplier for EV charging, 10x on hotels, car rentals, and attractions booked through the Citi Travel Portal being made a permanent benefit, and the addition of travel protections. All positive changes that make Citi more competitive in the mid-tier travel credit card space. Though, as mentioned, not too significant a change, so let's move on to another credit card issuer that also made some noise in the mid-tier travel credit card space, but in a much bigger way. That being Wells Fargo with its introduction of the autographed Journey card. Prior to this year, Wells Fargo didn't have any annual fee cards that offered enhanced travel-related benefits, and also their points were capped out at a value of 1 cent per point. That all changed with the autograph Journey, which has a $95 annual fee, 5x points on hotels, 4x on airlines, 3x on restaurants and other travel, a $50 statement credit on airline purchases, and various protections. Oh, and when they introduced the card, they also introduced transfer partners, where the points on the autograph Journey and the autograph card, or points on the active cash or a new Attune card if you have one of the autograph cards, could be transferred to airline and hotel partners for more outsized value potential. Clearly, Wells Fargo wanted to compete with the likes of Chase and Citi in offering their own credit card trifecta that earns flexible rewards, and in 2024, they executed on that in a big way. And finally, we have US Bank. It has to be the discontinuation of the Altitude Reserve, accompanied with the introduction of the new Smartly card. I know I said I'd be going through each issuer's single biggest move, but because these moves happen so close together, I'm going to count them as one. Whether this makes for a net positive or net negative change in US Bank's credit card portfolio depends from person to person, but what's less subjective is how unique and potentially ultra valuable these cards are. The Altitude Reserve was, well, is for people who got the card before the discontinuation, a premium travel credit card that offered arguably the most competitive rate on an almost everything category, that being 3x on mobile wallet purchases. You can then redeem your points to offset travel expenses at a 1.5 cents per point rate, thus making the multiplier effectively 4.5x. A great earner that also comes with an easy-to-use $325 dining and travel statement credit to help offset the $400 annual fee and other travel benefits like priority pass lounge access and global entry. While the new Smartly card doesn't come with travel benefits or statement credits, it can be a better earner. 2% cashback on everything as the base rate, with the ability to earn up to 4% cashback total with qualifying balances in a US Bank Smartly savings account. While $100,000 is a boatload of money, the fact of the matter is 4% unlimited cashback on everything is now a thing, which prior to 2024 was unheard of. With this two-punch biggest move, I think US Bank has cemented its credit card portfolio as one of the best for earning multipliers, while pulling back a little bit on its travel allure. Though the Altitude Reserve was once discontinued and then reintroduced again, so who's not to say that that won't happen again? And there we have it, my thoughts on the biggest moves in 2024 from 6 credit card issuers. I'd love to hear from you guys. Do you agree or have other biggest moves in mind? Let me know below in the comments. Also, if you're interested in more details on the biggest moves that I mentioned for Citi and Wells Fargo, check out these videos on screen. Thanks so much for watching this one, and here's your card nerd signing off. Peace.